sincere, real pleasure to be joined by maybe like the first player to ever join this podcast way back in my Honda Pilot with Chandler sitting shotgun, Mr. Nick Sundberg. Dude, how are you? How's Arizona? How's life?
Good. Thanks for having me on again, guys. It's been a while. Things are going well. I miss you guys too. It's hot. Already over 100 every day, which sucks, but getting busier, so that's good. Other than that, just kind of taking it day to day.
Yo, how are you feeling? We know about the surgery. How do you feel?
Good. I'm like 3 weeks ahead of schedule. I wasn't supposed to start snapping until like the first or second week of June. I started last week. So getting some sanity back there. The weight room stuff's going pretty well. It was such a slow process to start like being able to do anything with my arm again. It atrophied so bad being in that brace for freaking almost 3 months. But finally starting to be able to do some pressing again and some just use the dang thing. Like up until like 2 weeks ago, I was only allowed to do girl push-ups. So I can finally do push-ups now. So I'm, and I can do overhead presses and I can start to bench again, but like everything is so slow. I can use a full, like a barbell now, but I've just been doing a lot of dumbbell stuff with a heavy one in my left arm and a light one in the right one, and just slowly, like every other day, increasing the weight a little bit. So I finally had 60 pounds in my hand yesterday, which is the most I've done since pre-surgery. So we're getting there.
I mean, aside from the atrophy, I imagine.
Sorry, go ahead, Mitch.
Go ahead, JP.
No, okay. Well, where do you want to go? Like, is your agent calling other teams? Like, what is happening for you? Like, what do you want to do?
I want to be 100% again. So
yeah,
that was the point of getting the surgery. Originally, I had my agent call. He's like the best elbow guy in the country, but I got on a 3-way call with him, and he just asked me straight up. He's like, do you want, or he said, how many more years do you want to play? 1 or more than that? And I was like, well, I'd like to have the option of playing more than 1, He's like, well, then get the surgery now. He's like, if you wanted to squeak out 1 more season and retire, I'd say gut it for another year. Since I already gutted it for a season, like he's like, you could probably do that. But if you want to play longer than that, get the surgery, knock it out now, and then like feel good, go into next season feeling great instead of being pissed off all the time because your elbow hurts. So there is 100% again. I've had elbow pain for like 4 or 5 years, man. This is a long time coming. It just got a lot worse this year with my freaking tendon blowing up. But I don't know if my agent's actively calling teams, but every time he talks to a GM or a team, he tells me. So my plan is to wait until after mini camp, like the mandatory vet mini camps and all that stuff. Like I'm in zero hurry. Teams, are always making moves post that mini camp because they either figure out they don't like who they have, or they just want to add competition for, preseason stuff like that. So I'm not in a hurry. I got to pass a physical before I do anything. I don't think I would pass a physical right now. So I'm thinking early to mid-July, we figure that out.
Nick, we've got a feel for where you're at physically, but where are you at kind of mentally? I mean, this is the first time in like a decade that you aren't, signed with a team. So how's that part going?
It's okay. It's definitely different. I think you just got to fall back on, I'm not 100% right now, and I'm just focusing on getting there. I have a lot to do, so that helps with the baby and, being so active and all that. And they need you a lot. So that has helped kind of keep my focus where it could be. It's easy to drift though, for sure. Especially, average career in the NFL is around 3 years, like I'm 33. So, it's easy to wonder and think about stuff like that. But I think I'm just super focused on my competitive side. Like, I don't want to be done. It's probably petty, but I'd like to play another 10 years just to spite everybody in Washington. But it is, that's just me. So right now I'm just focused on getting healthy and trying not to think about all that other stuff.
So I don't want to pick at the scab, but you want to spite the people in Washington. So clearly there's some folks you're not happy with. I imagine that's part of the difficulty in moving forward, right?
I get we all make business decisions, man. It's the NFL. It's a game. And everybody is trying to upgrade every position every day. So I guess spite might be a strong word.
Okay.
But like I heard a bunch of, like, right after it happened, I saw a bunch of people talking like, well, he's been here for 12 or for 11 years. Like, he's getting old. And like, they did the same thing to Ethan. Like, Ethan was 41, like, that's a little different. But I'm coming off elbow surgery. I had back surgery a couple of years ago. I get that I don't have the cleanest bill of health when it comes to playing the game of football. So, I'm challenging myself to not have that last playoff game be the last game I ever play.
Well, I hope it goes without saying, we're certainly rooting for that. I can't tell you though. So how COVID was like, I mean, how many days, hours, minutes did I hang out next to your locker and just kind of BS with you and Tress?
Right.
Like that's all gone, right, from COVID. Last year, we barely even got to interact, but we got to go to rookie minicamp last week, and we were able to take our masks off. And some of those like weird dividers between us and the practice field were taken down. And it's like you feel like it's slowly getting back. We go out next week for OTAs for the first time, and we'll see the dudes we recognize. And I don't know that there'll be any BSing like there has been in times past, but like you can feel it getting closer to that, and not seeing you out there, man, is going to be incredibly bizarre to me. And I am one of probably thousands of people that will miss seeing you out there. I'm just curious, have you had a ton of people reaching out, like fans, teammates, all of it, or is that already kind of happened?
Yeah, it's kind of all already happened. Every now and again, somebody will reach back out, something like that. But it's definitely gonna be weird for me too. Like, I wanted to finish my career in Washington and retire there and never put on a different jersey, that sort of thing. I mean, I will say Ryan looks super weird in an either jersey.
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be strange, but
you brought up Kerrigan, and now Moses. I'm sure you've seen that news by now. What do you think of like kind of getting rid of all these older veterans? Like Alex is gone, you're gone. The guys that are you still have Sheriff, who's on a franchise tag. It doesn't seem like you're going to get a long-term deal. The only guys that are over 30 are 30 or over. Tress, Hop, I think Bostic. There's not a lot of people that go back.
Landon
Collins, and I think that's just a contract keeping him there.
Yeah. And you got like a 38-year-old quarterback, but he's new.
Right, but he's new is what I'm saying. Like, there's not a lot of people that predate Ron's arrival.
Sure.
Is that normal? Like, you've been through this before, where there's rebuilds and new coaches and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, when Shanahan came in, he brought me in, or the organization did, and I was so young when Jay came in that I don't think it was advantageous to move on to a rookie. But I do think this happens all the time. It just sucks when it does, and it's guys that so like, I'm not surprised that it's happening. I don't know, crazier stuff has happened. And I mean, I'm trying to think of when Ron got to Carolina, how many guys they, turned over. Brand new quarterback day one. Like Steve Smith was pretty soon out the door. Like Jake Delhomme was their quarterback before they got Cam, right? Like they made a ton of changes when he got there, and it's it's just the cycle of new coaches.
You mentioned Tress and Hop, two of the other quote unquote old guys. What's that group chat still looking like?
Tress is the longest tenured guy now. If Morgan goes,
Yeah,
crazy, right?
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mitch. What was the question?
What's the group chat? What's the group chat like, or is the fact that you're taking care of a kid now kind of keeping you away?
Those two have kids.
Yeah, they got Tress has 3. Hop's got 1 too. So it's a little slower these days, but both those dudes keep checking on me and my sanity for sure. At least every couple of weeks, if not more often than that. I mean, they're both doing well. I know they both enjoyed not going to phase 1 and 2.
Yeah, I bet.
And being able to spend more time with their families in the off season.
Your sanity, like mine, is always kind of on the fringe anyway. So are they checking on your sanity or just like how you doing?
Oh, it's not like a wellness check.
We run those on JP from time to time.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I do it to friends all the time too. It's just healthy, but more of just checking in on how the rehab's going, if I started snapping, all that sort of stuff. And then asking for pictures of the baby and all that.
That's cool.
Coming down the stretch, was this, in the couple final games in that playoff game, was it on your mind as you left FedEx Field that night that it could have been your last time on there? I mean, or did it kind of catch you off guard when the decision came down from Ron? I mean, what was the sort of preparation level on your end?
So I think it's always on your mind when you're in the last year of your deal. That could be it. And I remember I gave Ryan a big hug as we were walking off the field, and just because everybody was saying it was going to be his last game, all that stuff. So it's definitely on your mind. But my last 2 contracts, my first 2 contracts with the team that expired, they didn't talk to me until February anyway. So I just figured it was going to be a little more of the same. Unfortunately, that's just not how it played out.
So not what will you miss from the NFL, because you're going to be back and you're going to send us swag from whatever team you end up on. But what will you miss from Washington, like from being a Redskin for a long time and now just being a Washington football team player?
It's crazy, but you don't realize like how many people you meet and how many relationships you create in 11 years, like how many people we had to say goodbye to, and like all that stuff. I miss the people, man. I miss every day walking in and seeing Miss BJ and the relationships that we created with the community relations department and schools across the DMV, and seeing all the guys every day and all that stuff, and like that's the stuff that that stung the hardest early on, for sure.
JP was asking all the mushy Washington football questions about people you were going to miss and whatnot. Aside from the end of training camp pods with us, what's your highlight of your career from your time in DC?
Oh man, there are a few like specific moments. Like if I could bundle like all of Tress's super highlight punts where he knocked one down to the 1, or that 77-yarder, stuff like that. Him and I had a thing where like he would sprint down towards the field and I would stop and turn around, and we'd like crow hop into a high 5 or into a low 5 together. And like, if I could put all those moments in a bucket, like that's something I like for sure. And then to be a little more sentimental, like the act of like creating loads of love is something I'll never forget, and watching it grow from a small pilot, in 5 locations to being at almost 100 now, is truly something I'm super, super proud of. And I think everybody in that charitable relations department and, even from Mr. Snyder on down, they've supported that program so hard from day one. I was just very, very impressed with how they took an idea from us and ran with it. And I was at the time and throughout the process just kind of astonished at how quickly it grew, and I still am to this day. I know we had some setbacks with COVID and all that stuff, but it's going where it needs. It's in good hands with Calvin and everybody in the charitable relations department. So there's two. If you want more, I can start thinking.
I'll go a slightly different direction. Aside from Dustin and Tress, who is a teammate either from last year, or just in the past in general, that you will miss the most?
So there are a few of those.
Please give them all.
Yeah. Sheriff, just DeShazer Everett and Jeremy Reeves, Troy Apke, Cole Holcomb, some of the young guys. Morgan Moses, and him and I, our lockers have been next to each other for years.
Well, aside from the Trent Williams double locker of extra clothing that was there for a decade.
Section. Yeah.
When he put
boxes of stuff.
Yeah, when he put up the rope, that was a highlight of media, media.
That was so great, dude.
That was so
great.
Definitely Alex. Him and I it was strange how our relationship started because we were both rehabbing, but realistically, but like we grew. I feel like we grew really close because we spent so much time together rehabbing. But Alex was just a straight up dude. So fun to be around, so easy to talk to, and he's somebody I'm definitely going to miss a ton. But we still stay in contact, which is cool. There's a handful to name a few.
Are you surprised he retired?
I am. I didn't think he was going to retire, but who knows? I mean, he played really long time, like 16 years, right? He played 4 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think he was the number one overall pick in 2005.
Yeah.
Same draft as Ryan Fitzpatrick, right?
And Aaron. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
Yep.
Sure.
Fun fact for you. The very first and only college football game that I attended before I went to college was the Fiesta Bowl in 2005. Anybody name the two teams in that game?
Utah and Alabama.
Utah and
Boise State.
Alabama.
Florida. No idea.
Pitt.
Oh.
Pitt. Larry Fitz on the field?
No, Larry's older than that. Come on. But Alex Smith was on the field.
That's cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wasn't my almost guess, but then I tied it into Alex. Wasn't that Boise State Oklahoma game?
It was
Fiesta Bowl?
Yeah, but I think that was 2007.
That's
Ian Johnson proposal and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, Nick. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. One of my favorite memories, I guess my favorite Nick Sundberg memory, I still have it, is the sleeveless Washington polo that you cut for me and gave to me to go out to Buffalo. So, I mean, I've said a bunch of pods before, but you're kind of the first player who stopped to give me the time of day, and you even cut up a polo and let me wear it to the tailgate. So I always appreciate that, and that was a hell of a memory, and I still have like frozen nipples from that afternoon in the tailgate parking lot.
You committed to the bit, man. It was perfect. I still remember watching that video. It was great. You did awesome.
Thank you.
I think my favorite Nick memory was on the sideline during a preseason game.
Oh.
There's a little extra time, and Nick snapped me a football, and it came back, and I was like, holy F, that came back fast. And he's like, dude, that was like 20%. I was like, all right, man, that's good.
I thought you were going to
know Mitch was working hard that day.
I thought it's got to be Richmond. It's got to be whatever. Fado, what's the name of that bar? Shanae? That's.
Oh, yeah. The bear fight.
Yeah, the bear fight. I thought my career was over that night. I really did.
JP thought he was going to be a Deadspin story. Sports reporter, S's himself in bar, now has to sell real estate.
A lot of poop talk on this pod.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, what's old is new again.
Right.
Yeah. You know what you're going to get when I come on.
Dude, we don't want to keep you too long. I know you got diapers to take care of and soccer to play. But know that there's always a chair for you here on this podcast. You're going to be playing this fall, so this is irrelevant. But if for some reason you choose not to, I think you should be doing media in this city.
For us.
And
With
I
us.
just want you to know how much fans love you, dude.
Oh, I appreciate that, man. I love all the fans too. It's I didn't say it earlier, but they are definitely some of the people I'm going to miss the most too. Interact, especially pre-COVID, man, having everybody on the field and, seeing everybody pregame, all that stuff, everybody, all the super regulars in 109, definitely an awesome group. But I appreciate you saying that. I like doing media. We'll see if someday that time comes. But hopefully not for a few more years.
You're the best, man. We miss you in DC, and we can't wait to see where you end up this fall.
I appreciate you guys. Always a pleasure having me on, or always a pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me on.